This is Femi Kuti, and you're listening to NYC Radio Live.
All right. How you doing, folks? Feeling good? I am David Ellenbogen here. This is my second run-through doing the introduction. I kind of realized I mispronounced the name, and I wanted to fix that out of respect to the artist. And also, we're in New York City today. We had the blizzard of the century. Or it was supposed to be that. It wasn't quite that. Or even close. But a lot of things got rescheduled, so I wanted to update for that. So, here you go. Ready? You got your pen, your pencil ready? You can go to nycradiolive.org and see all this. But this is one of the biggest weeks in the history of New York and Moroccan and Gnaoua spiritual traditions coming together. There's a huge festival, Le Festival Gnaoua et Musiques du MondeEssaouira in Essaouira. It's celebrating its 20th anniversary, and they are bringing several master musicians to New York City this week. So I appreciate everybody who listens to the show. It's great. I'm starting to meet people all the time, and I get a thrill every time. And here's the but. But listening, certain types of music have to be experienced live. And Gnaoua music, this incredible spiritual tradition, is one of those types of music. This is a sacred, ceremonial, trance, Sufi music, ecstatic music. It's music for right now and for you. And most of these shows are free, so if you live in New York City, there's no excuse. I'm going to bring in Meera Dugal's voice of Lincoln Center, and she's one of the people working on this festival, and in my opinion, very important producer in New York City. She's brought a lot of wonderful artists to the big stage, and so we're going to hear from her, and she's going to give us the lineup, but I'm going to tell you about the things that have changed since we broadcast this radio show on Sunday night. So now, after the last day at Sunday, now there's actually 2 more days being added. Monday, March 20th, from 6:30 to 9 p.m., there'll be a panel and Innov Gnaoua performance at the New School of Jazz. And Randy Weston is going to do a master class featuring Maalem Hassan Ben Jaafer, one of the master Maalems, and Samir Langus of Innov Gnaoua. That's going to be rescheduled. It was supposed to happen, but the snow changed the plan. So, yeah, killer master musicians coming include Hamid Kasri and Maalem Abdeslam Alikkane, and of course Maalem Hassan Ben Jaafer. So you don't want to miss this. Plus, oh my God, this radio show was incredible. I got to sit down and talk with Samir Langus and Nawfal Atiq of Innov Gnaoua, really great musicians, and Will Calhoun, master drummer. A lot of you guys know that band Living Color, really important album in the history of rock, but also, I don't know, he's got a pile of Grammy Awards. He's done stuff with B.B. King, Mick Jagger, Jaco Pastorius, Harry Belafonte, Pharoah Sanders, Jack Giuseppe, Paul Simon, Lou Reed, the Allman Brothers, Lauryn Hill, Marcus Miller, Dr. John. You get the idea. Wayne Shorter, Run DMC, Public Enemy, dudes. Herb Alpert. He was actually a super cool guy. So let's get to that show. This episode, like all other episodes of late, are brought with the support of the Rubin Museum of Art, who have a wisdom series, and they bring us this piece of wisdom from the Buddha. You will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger. Maybe I should have accented the for. You will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger. Yep. So, thanks, Rubin Museum. You've been awesome. I remembered I'm there the first Friday of the month DJing. I remembered what we were called. I said that there was some over-the-top term that Time Out New York called that special day where I DJ and the whole museum is free. They said it was one of 12 magnificent things to do in New York City. Magnificent! You heard it here, folks. Magnificent. So, anyway, sometimes you get lucky. I've had the exact opposite happen. That's another in the press. So sometimes you get lucky. Anyway, thanks, Rubin Museum. That Wisdom series is underway, and there's a bunch of really great exhibits to check out. Let me hand the baton over to Thursday's show. Here is Meera, Dugal, and Nawfal, Atiq, and Samir, Langus, and Will Calhoun. And a lot of incredible music. See you at some of these shows. All right, I'm going to hand you off to Meera Dugal here from our broadcast Sunday night. Let's see if I can do this smoothly. Hey, Meera, can you tell us what can we expect for the kickoff?
Thursday, March 16th is the big blowout kickoff concert with the masters coming from Morocco. We have Hamid Kasri, Maalem Abdeslam Alikkane, and New York's own Hassan ben Jaafer. That's going to be at Lincoln Center at the David Rubenstein Atrium. Then on Friday, March 17th, at the New School, we're going to have a more traditional Leela-esque night with Maalem Abdeslam Alikkane at the Teresa Lang Student and Community Center. Then on Saturday, March 18th, the Maalems from Morocco are going to travel down to D.C. for a show at the Kennedy Center where they have two special guests, Humayun Khan and Shaheen Shahida. And then on Sunday, they're back for the blowout concert at Pioneer Works featuring amazing jazz artists. Will Calhoun, the drummer of Living Color, is going to be the MD for this show. And their special guests including Mark Carey, Jamaluddin Takuma, and Marcus Strickland. That's going to be at Pioneer Works on Sunday. So we got 6 days of amazing music featuring the Gnaoua movement here in New York and some great masters coming from Morocco.
All right. So thanks, Samir. And that, folks, that was without paper. She's working hard. She's working hard for you. So I think I think we should just start off with some killing Gnaoua music just so people get a taste of what's coming. So, Samir, do you want to just set up the track that we're going to play right now?
Yeah, that's Hamid Al-Qasfi's track. It's from his album Soucier, and it's a Bambraoui song. So it's like full in here.
Anything else we should know about... if someone's never heard this music, what?
I mean, Gnaoua music is basically it's a trance and dance music. So if you are at your house, you can just jump in, listen to the music, and just dance.
All right, that's an order. We'll be back.
Please.
No. All right, you are listening to WKCR 89.9 FM New York. We're so glad to have you with us. We've got some super, super special guests in the house. Nawfal, Atiq, and Samir Langus of Innov Gnaoua, Meera Dugal, the producer of a huge week of performances from the Gnaoua tradition. And we're super lucky to have the master drummer, Will Calhoun, in the house. Welcome, Will. Great to have you.
It's always great to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. So, actually, one of the questions I wanted to hit you with right off the bat, you're right off a plane from Cuba, and we learned a drum festival, and I'm super curious about the similarities between some of the rhythms and the rhythm traditions of Cuba and of Gnaoua music. If you hear something there.
Absolutely. There's a total connection between Cuba and Senegal and Guinea and Mali, and Morocco. It's for absolutely. I mean, you can hear a clave in all of the music, actually, listening to it. It just depends on what flavor, and I say that by what style, what rhythmic style you're playing. In Mali, there's a Takamba style, which has a certain kind of a clave to it. And there's actually in Cuban music there's 3/2 and 2/3. And there's very interesting in playing drum set with Gnaoua. I had to learn. My first trip to Morocco, I was totally green, and you hear the form of the Gnaoua style in a blues rhythmic form, which is incorrect. Actually, I was playing it incorrectly, which I was corrected by an audience of about 5,000 people immediately upon playing it incorrectly, because you think of a shuffle as if you hear a Gnaoua bass line like a doom 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 ding, doom ding doom 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 ding, doom ding ding, and in the New Orleans style, we'll play a shuffle on that, doom 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 ding, doom chat doom 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 doom, and that's not correct in Gnaoua terms. The one is dun 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 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5. Whereas the Chicago, New Orleans sort of style would be to shuffle that groove. So you have to really know what's happening with the music to know where to lay it down, which is what led me to staying in Morocco for about 6 months and doing some homework.
Yeah, that particular rhythm has stumped me. That's the khalabati, right? Yeah, that dun 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 dun. And that's it, huh?
Yep.
It still feels wrong after listening to Howlin' Wolf my whole life. But
Howlin' Wolf is an interesting take on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very interesting take, I think, what guys like Howlin' Wolf put to that groove. But to hear it in this, I consider indigenous form, is really interesting.
Right, and also it's very interesting. I never made the connection with Katamba music, but that's like a music in a kind of like 12 count.
Yeah.
And I didn't put that one together.
That's similar as well.
Yeah. And how about you guys? Because, I mean, musically, there's a connection with Afro-Cuban tradition that we've talked about. But also, ceremony-wise, I know that the way the music is used, there's a lot of similarities. For example, significance of colors, that you're calling down different spirits, in Afro-Cuban tradition. You're I don't know, there's a lot of ceremonial elements that seem very similar and familiar. I remember one gentleman from your group came to a workshop that we put together with one of our treasures of Afro-Cuban music, Roman Diaz, and he just couldn't believe. The more that he talked about Afro-Cuban music, he couldn't believe, and he was like, "But wait, what about the colors? What about the colors?" And it turned out that a lot of the colors had the same significance. So I don't know. I mean, maybe you could just delve a little bit more into how the situation that Gnaoua music is used in traditional context, and maybe a little bit about where it was born as well.
Yeah, I mean, basically the music is, the way how we celebrate it in Morocco, it's as we call it Lila, which is basically a night. It's like a Lila. And we go through the whole colors, and we start with the non-color songs. And then we go to the color songs. Non-color songs, we call them the Sons of Bambara, which is Bambarawi songs. It's mostly dancing. It's like a play.
Bambara means songs? Or Bambara?
No, it's the Bambara Empire.
Oh, okay.
The Bambara Empire, but we call them
Oh,
the Sons of Bambara.
That's Mali. That's the connection
Yeah.
to Mali.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
yeah,
that's
and it's
how,
a language as well.
Yeah, and nowadays we're still using some of the Bambarawi language into these songs.
Wow.
And we don't know the meaning, but we still just sing about it.
I mean, it's fairly similar to the Cuban experience because it's still a pre-Islamic, pre-Abrahamic animist tradition that was incorporated with Islam much later. So it's still retaining the spiritual and natural elements before Islam was incorporated, and themes of the prophets were added to the repertoire. So the color system is from that pre-Islamic structure.
Right. And it also, I guess, there is a common root there, because if you're saying it's the sons of Bambara, that's not too far from Nigeria and Yoruba territory. It's getting pretty close.
Yeah, it's all one.
Yeah. All right. Well, should we taste a little more music? What were we playing to start off the show?
Yeah, we're playing a song from Hamid Al-Qasri from his album Sousia, and now we're gonna play the first song that we play in a Bambara, in a Lila.
Great.
It's called Olad Bambara, Sons of Bambara, and that's the song that he's gonna be playing now.
والغالي لا تنساه شكون والي ربي لا فوق شكون والي وينو بالله شكون والي صلى نبينا تعفو علينا الدنيا ما يدوم شكون والي ربي لا فوق شكون والي وينو بالله تعالى ويا الغالي لا تنساه قمري والله وضع العراسي نبي يا قمري والله وضع العراسي رسول
All right, we are back in the studio with Will Calhoun, Samir Langus, Nawfal Atiq, and Meera Dugal, listening to Gnaoua music and getting excited for an entire week, basically, of really major events. Two big ones are the Thursday evening Lincoln Center, and that's with several really incredible Maalems, masters of this music, and Friday at the new school, there'll be a Lila-style event, more traditional, just straight-up Gnaoua music. And then on Sunday, that's that's kind of a big event amongst all these big events, and that's with Will Calhoun as the musical director, bringing in a lot of heavy-hitter jazz musicians to collaborate with these Gnaoua musicians. So all very exciting. And that section that we just drifted out on was touching on the mysterious and beautiful Gnaoua clapping thing, as it's known.
Clapping thing.
So, could you guys break it down? I know there's only two of you. But could you help us a little with what rhythmically was the concept here that's going down?
Okay, but you mean for the last part?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. This is just a part of it.
That's the basic thing,
Yeah.
huh?
And the other one can just do just like this. and just it's like a teamwork.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be
Great.
like 3 people or 4.
You should teach us. We'll do it all together.
Okay.
Give Assign us each a rhythm. I mean, we got Will Calhoun here.
I think
we can work it out.
Pick it up. Well, that was 2 out of the 3 or 3 out of the 4.
Which one?
That we just. I mean, we just heard
Like 2 of the 4.
2 of the 4.
Yeah.
All right. So why don't you guys get set up to 2 and then give one to
Okay,
Will.
so Meera, you're gonna do just this. Well, you're gonna do this. You're gonna do like Meera. You're gonna do like Will. Oi, oi.
All right.
Yes.
Mysteries revealed.
Can we join the band?
Yeah.
We'll see.
I'm not ready.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
you're ready.
don't think I am either. I'll be the manager.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's accepted.
I'll be the radio host. So, yeah. So, I mean, it is exciting to hear what's gonna come of just combining with these all sympathetic jazz musicians to this tradition. I know Mark Carey has done some really cool collaborations, and he's had you come on his jam sessions as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Will, what draws you to the Gnaoua tradition off the bat?
I'll tell you a very interesting story. Hassan Hakmoun, who's a very good friend of mine, we've been friends since he moved to New York many years ago, and was trying to finish a recording, his album, and something happened with the studio. He ran out of time, where the machines went down, and he called me one morning at 10 o'clock, and he said, I'm trying to finish this last song. Can I come over your house to cut the tracks? I said, sure. A half an hour later, 5 cars pull in front of my house full of Moroccans. And they came into my house, and they took over the house, which was great. Somebody started to cook. Somebody cut some fruit open. We're down there cutting the tracks. And ironically, Naila Tazi calls his cell phone. She's one of the, I guess, organizers of the Gnaoua Festival, and tells Hassan he has to give her all the names of the bands, the musicians who are coming over. So Hassan goes, no problem, take a pen down. And he starts to list all these Moroccan guys, and he puts the phone under his arm, and he goes, Will, you want to go to Morocco? And I said, yeah. He goes, yeah, and Will Calhoun. Wow. And that's how I got to Morocco, to be honest with you. And I went over. I didn't know about the music. I only was a fan of Hassan. Still am a fan of his music. I learned music through him, and then when I went there, I just got turned out. The music got under my skin. Essaouira is a gorgeous city. The food, the people, everybody was amazing. To see Gnaoua music sort of in that environment, not necessarily in like a concert environment, because I was going to Leila's, I was going to people's homes. They were, quote unquote, what we call here sort of after parties. There were other performances after the main performance that you go to. And then I met Mahmoud Guinea, and I met Mustafa Bakbou, and went to these guys. I mean, to me, they were like, it's like meeting Duke Ellington or meeting Max Roach or something along that line, or John Coltrane. But they're walking around. They're in the market. They're, so just the fact that they were just tangible sort of forced me to come over the house and just practice, or let's listen to some music, or show me how this works. So it was sort of always like a workshop, a spiritual workshop time. And the festival ended, and I just didn't want to go. And I decided to talk to a couple of local friends that I recently met, and took a map out. And I always wanted to see the desert on my own terms. And I rented a car and a Jeep and a driver, a friend of mine. And I drove from Marrakesh to Merzouga, and stopped in Ouarzazate and saw some amazing things, and got lost a bunch of times. Had about 3 or 4 flat tires. Had some wonderful Berber families come along and show me where to go. And it was life-changing. And after those sort of 6 months of staying, driving there, driving back, meeting people, then I went back every year as much as possible. So I've been out to the festival at least 10 times. I've played it maybe 4 times. But everything, growing up in what we call North America, there's a lot of things about Africa that's just not taught. outside of, Moroccan culture or history. But there's so many things within the culture that are important that you can't really get your hands on unless you're there, unless you really breathe it and taste it and play it. So I stayed for as long as possible, roughly 6 months or so. I just stayed and hung out and went to visit people and played and went to the market. And I think I emptied out my suitcase. I think I gave all my clothes away, and I came back with cassettes. I had about 150 cassettes in my luggage and just gave away, the younger Moroccans, they wanted sneakers and a Nike hat and the sweat jacket. So I said, you can have it. I just take that, take it. And I went on this serious mission to get the music and to bring back art. And I had a very amazing drum set made on that trip. The tuya wood is this very special wood. And I donated a drum set. Hassan told me the festival was struggling with instruments, so I bought a drum set to leave for the festival. And I took a kit there and I left it. And I was in the furniture shop and I was in love with this wood, the smell. And I was sitting on a bench and my fingers under the bench, and I felt the what we call bearing edges of a drum set. The sound comes from drum cases come from how you cut the shell, how the shell is shaved on the edges. And this table in this Moroccan store had the bearing edge of like a 1930 Gretsch drum shell, which shows you how much of a nerd I am about drums.
Right.
So I asked the guy, could he make me a drum kit? And he said he never made a drum set before. So I took the hardware off of the drum kit that I donated to the festival and took the shells to him, and he made it.
Wow.
So I have a tuya kit in my house with my name put on it. I mean, it was
nice,
incredible. That was the best part of the trip at the end, was having this drum set made. There's nothing like it. I don't have any drum kit that sounds like it. And if I can possibly get it over for the show, that would be cool.
Yeah.
To get this drum kit, it would be cool. We'll try to work out something to get in the kit there. But it's everyone who hears it, even when Tony Williams was alive, a lot of the great jazz guys that heard the kit, they always ask me, where did you get this drum set from? And it was handmade in a family furniture shop in Essaouira. Not the machines. The guys had sandpaper, nails, glue, and the drum set sounds completely amazing. So, not to get too long-winded, but that was my 6-month experience of being there and experiencing Morocco as much as possible.
I got the honor of interviewing Randy Weston once, and he proposed that you can't just learn the music from CDs or records. It's like in the food, especially. It's I don't know if you guys want to talk about that at all.
I mean, that's how it gets into your blood. You have to put the music. You have to, it's like a culture. The way how you dress, the way how you eat, the way how you talk to people. So all of that helps you to get that rhythm in your body.
Right.
And that music too.
So
come on, Nawfal, say something. Don't be shy.
I'm not.
One thing that I'm actually curious to hear from you guys, Samir and Nawfal, what was it like to start sort of get Gnaoua going again, or like working on Innov Gnaoua in New York, and then going back to Essaouira last year for the festival? Like, what was it like to go there as a professional Gnaoua musician?
I mean, for me, what can I say? It was such an honor to just go back to the festival, because my first time at the festival was in 2010. That was like a couple months before I came to the States. That was my first time. I was struggling. I had like $15 in my pocket. I was just, we were like 6 people sleeping in a room. I just want to experience that life. I just want to experience it, because my background, I didn't come from a Gnaoua family. So I just learned the music from YouTube and from, just by ear, just by listening. So I'm not from a Gnaoua family. I don't consider myself as a pure Gnawi. I'm just a lover to the music, and I want to take this music to a big level. So go back to the question that you just asked, is going to Morocco and meeting with all these masters, and I want to mention a name that helped me really into this music and meeting new people, is the great Maalem Hassan bin Jaafer. I mean, this guy,
that was a pass.
I was like,
It's like a pass.
it's just wherever we go in Essaouira, just like, oh, we're from Hassan bin Jaafer. You're like, oh my God, come here. It's like that's the pass.
Well, Meera, you were there. And
Yeah.
You saw everything. Meera.
Every time his name was mentioned,
Yeah.
people were in awe.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm sure Hassan bin Jaafer is listening. Saha Maalem. Saha.
Yeah, that's one of the real treats of this festival, is to have a chance to see Hassan bin Jaafer live. And also, New Yorkers are really lucky with what you guys have put together and given us this opportunity to hear a real master. I wonder if you could speak about what makes someone a Maalem, what makes someone a master of this music, and what makes someone just a good player. What's the difference?
You cannot be a Maalem if you're not. You have to be born within the Gnawas. You have to grow up within the Gnawas. I mean, it's like it takes lifetime. It's a lifetime experience. You have to be growing into that community. You have to start by playing the castanets, and then you go to the dance, you go to the chorals, and you play drums next to your Maalem. And you cannot call yourself, I am a Maalem, or I am a master. You have to let them call you a Maalem. You cannot call yourself a master. It's like being a doctor, because it's okay to do like a show. You can play a concert. That's fine. You can handle that. But in a lila, whomever says he's a Maalem, just take them to, okay, you have a Maalem, okay, take them to a lila.
Put him in a test. So
That's the test. That's the big test.
It is, yeah.
It's very hard to handle the lila in the incense, the colors, the spirits. I don't know, the Maalem has a charisma. Just like we say, Maalem Hassan bin Jaafer, like when you just meet him, you feel that the charisma in his eyes. They have it. They have it. They cannot be, oh, I am a Maalem. No, they have it in the, this is just a small experience. We went to California for a lila with Hassan, and the people were like, oh my God, everyone was coming to him. Maalem, you're the best. You're the best. Everyone, I was like looking at him, I was like, yes, Maalem, yes, he is. He is. Yes, you are. So everyone was like very appreciating the way how he is. And, there's so many things about being a Maalem. You have to be humble. You have to be open. Don't be jealous. Don't be arrogant. You have to be very humble with the musicians next to you. And in order for you to become a Maalem, you have to do whatever it takes. It's like going into a military. You start step by step, and then you get to the top. And we're just so glad and so honored to have Maalem Hassan bin Jaafer with us in New York. Such a pleasure to us.
And I've been struggling this whole time to find your album, and I just did. So I think this would be a good time. What's a track off the Innov Gnaoua recording that would make sense to play right now that shows Maalem Hassan bin Jaafer and taste of that charisma?
I think we can try Hamidi.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back. All right, we are back on air. That was pretty awesome. Couple songs from Malim Hassan Ben Jaafer and Innov Gnaoua. And yeah, super exciting to have all of you here. Meera, would you be so kind as to just run us through one more time the short version of all these shows coming up? And if there's like a link that... Is there one link for people to go to find out? Okay, go ahead.
So there's two pre-festival events. March 14th at the New School, there's a panel. Fingers crossed the weather holds out and that event stays on the 14th. The 15th, Sir Randy Weston is going to wrap up his masterclass series at Medgar Evers College featuring Malim Hassan Ben Jaafer, who you just heard, and Innov Gnaoua. There's going to be like a lecture demonstration. Thursday is a kickoff concert at Lincoln Center. Friday is a Leela kind of concert at the New School. Saturday, the guys are going to D.C. for the Kennedy Center. And Sunday is going to be the big jazz show at Pioneer Works.
Cool. And how did how the idea of doing such a ambitious festival come together? How'd that?
Samir and I, last summer was my first time going to the Essaouira Gnaoua Festival. And at Lincoln Center in my position there, the first time I kind of got exposed to the guys from Innov Gnaoua and, you know, the Gimbri and these sounds was with a great show with Hoba Hoba Spirit at Lincoln Center. They were here as part of a State Department tour. They're an incredible rock band. They were just here again in January for Global Fest. But in that, with that show, that was one of the first shows I ever worked when I was at Lincoln Center. I really wanted to meet members of the Moroccan community. So on Facebook, I was just trying to find like who's making cultural things happen for the Moroccan community in New York, and that's when I met Simo El Assaoui. Shout out to Simo. And Simo brought everybody he knows to that show, and in the crowd is where I met Samir and Nawfal and the rest of the guys in the band. And from then on, like, it just was so apparent there's a really active cultural scene for the Moroccan community here in New York. So they're ready to give me suggestions, ready to get involved with Lincoln Center. And so for the past 2 years, we've been working on music, incorporating, you know, the MENA region, Gnaoua. We did some stuff with Diwan, which is the Algerian branch of Gnaoua. We had Gnaoua Diffusion here, who are like the biggest stars in France, Morocco, Algeria for Gnaoua fusion music. So we've been riding that wave for a while, and this is the latest manifestation of this partnership with Lincoln Center and our Moroccan friends and audience members, and Samir and Innov Gnaoua, who have been building sort of the Gnaoua scene here in New York and taking it into all sorts of new venues, like, you know, Brooklyn Bowl opening up for a New Orleans second line, or what else? The Kennedy Center. Like I said, they've just been doing cool stuff and taking Gnaoua to cool places. And so after I went to the festival with Samir in June, we were like, let's bring it to New York. And so we reached out to Nayla, the director of the festival, and she was into the idea. This year is their 20th anniversary, so they wanted to go big, and we wanted to support that and continue the presence of Gnaoua in New York. So we've partnered up, and it's really fantastic for us to be able to help celebrate the incredible work they've been doing for Gnaoua for the past 20 years, at a time when New York is also getting on board with the Gnaoua love. Yeah,
and no small part thanks to all these guys here. And it's gonna get experimental. It's not just gonna be in its pure form. It's gonna be we're gonna do some experimentation on Sunday at Pioneer Works with Will Calhoun as the musical director, bringing in some really wonderful jazz musicians. So, Will, I know that I kind of got to you late, but you brought some music that somewhat touches on related traditions, right? Like, what do we got here?
Well, it's a recording I did called Life in This World, and it's a recording where actually Mark Carey is on that recording as well. But my Gnaoua experience stays with me with all the music that I do, whether it's Living Color or whether I'm working with hip-hop artists, and certainly with jazz. It's definitely very germane to jazz. And I was in Paris with sort of a day off, and I had been living on and off in Mali during that year. And I went to Paris to do a concert, and it was a day off, and I ran into a couple of buddies of mine from there. I was touring with Sangari. Wow. And Sangari's band was kind of there around the same time, and we had a day off, so I wanted to go into my friend's sort of home studio and create this track, which is called Afrikane. It's Peace for Africa. We were having a conversation about Africa and, you know, as a whole spiritual piece of, you know, united people, united sounds, united culture. So I went in, and Umu's Gimbi player is one of the best in the world, I think, at playing this instrument. And this song came about. So I recorded it in Paris. It has Malian musicians on there. And I returned with the track, and I put Wallace Roney, the jazz trumpeter, on top of it to bring a sort of, I would say more of a tangible jazz top to the African middle and bottom.
All right, let's check it out. This is from the album Will Calhoun, Life in This World. right. Music from one of our very special guests here, Will Calhoun, off of his album Life in This World. That's called Afrikane. And wow, I don't know. Is that something you Gnaoua guys think you could work with, or?
1,000,000%. Yeah.
Nice.
The castanets are there, the clapping is there, the dance is there, the vocals is there, everything.
Everything sounds better with a bunch of castanets.
Yeah.
Or a horn section.
All right. Yeah, beautiful. That is from the album Life in This World. And Will Calhoun is going to be the musical director of the show on Sunday, which is the Gnaoua et Jazz. And our other guests, Samir, Langus, and Nawfal, Atiq, will be performing. Well, you're going to be part of the Friday show?
No, we're part of the Tuesday show.
The Tuesday show.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
And
On the Wednesday.
on the DL, Thursday late night, Innov will be at New Blue with some friends.
Okay, but you didn't hear it.
Didn't hear it here.
Super cool. Nice. And also, Will is known to many people from his work with Living Color. And you guys have a gig tomorrow.
Correct. Tomorrow night at City Winery.
City Winery. Wow. So, you know, as I'm starting to try to grasp the breadth of your music, you got a pretty wide scope, right? Pretty wide net.
I'm scopeless.
Scopeless. We lost the scope.
I'm lost. I mean, for me, it's what studying and listening to music in Africa, and I say Africa in the broad sense of the word, in Morocco and in Guinea and Senegal and Mali, especially studying with more the elders, they really aren't styles of music at the end of the day. For me, it's sounds. I mean, there's origins and where things come from, but many of the elders taught me, including some of the jazz ones here in North America, how to listen. You study how to play, for example, the drum kit has a certain kind of a language. Yes, you learn how to work the hi-hat, the kick pedal, and the snare drum. But at the end of the day, those are like letters, and then you have to make words, and you have to make sentences. And the way you make words and sentences is by listening, not by you creating them all yourself. So it's important to learn the style. You know, most of the time I don't share with collaborators what I'm putting into the music, because some people don't like drum and bass, or they don't like quote-unquote African music, or they don't like blues or jazz. I won't mention any names, but I had an example of doing a jazz gig, and I played like a little drum and bass thing in the middle of this particular solo, and the leader said, "Hey man, what was that?" And I said, "Oh," she said, "Don't ever play that on my gig." And I said, "No problem, man." And during the show, I did the same thing, and he was like, "Just do what you just did. Do that part there. That was perfect." And it was the same thing. It just didn't like that it came from, you know, London, DJ, underground, rave, because of just this particular gentleman's background. He didn't feel like that music had a political role in what he was trying to do. But I matched sonically what he was playing with that audience. And that's how I learned how to not be prejudiced, you know, in any form, but certainly not in music. And when you listen to things, you listen to Gnaoua, when you learn how it's played, you learn where the one really is, and you listen to the cascadas, and you listen to where the claves are, etc. You can, for me, it totally opened up my head to playing jazz and to playing rock and roll, and it gave me another whole language to add to what I was already doing in the quote-unquote typical rock and roll language. So this recording you played is technically a jazz recording, but Afrikane works because in jazz you have blues, and you have this Gnaoua vibe, and you have this Malian vibe, and you have this Senegalese vibe, and it's kind of really all in there. And that's why I wanted to record the song and then bring it back here and put Wallace on there to put more of a jazz thing on top. But I've given up on styles, just quietly speaking, you say on the DL, maybe 15, 20 years ago, because I think it limits you. I'll speak for myself. It limited me in wanting to broaden my horizons as an artist and learn more about music. Instead of having a conversation and you and I talking about music, and I say, well, the jazz approach to that might be, you know, for example, I play with a blues guy, and most blues are 12 bars. And with this particular old blues gentleman we play with, he did a 13 and a half one time. Then he did a 15-bar blues, and the guitar player kept saying, "Man, you're not doing it. You're not going back." And he said, "I go back. I'm telling a story.
Right.
You have to listen to me. So if one verse is 15 and a half bars, then you listen. I go back to the one chord when the story says to go back to 12-bar blues. Doesn't mean you play 12 bars every time."
Mm-hmm.
And that's my point about listening and making sure you can add to what's, or not, or take away from what's already existing. But at the end of the day, you want the art to sound amazing. You want to be moved. You want to dance. You want to feel good and be spiritually lifted. And that's the goal.
Yeah, I mean, while we're on the topic, it is. If you listen to old blues recordings, they're never like 12-bar blues, even the Robert John. So that's like a new invention, and then the people try to force that, force the music into some kind of convention. So I mean, you've got heavy metal, you've got rock, you've got the jazz, Gnaoua, all these styles. Do you like sit down and pick apart a drum and bass thing like that, or is that like what? How does one practice everything?
Well, it's like being a chef, maybe, or learning how to cook Italian food and cook Spanish food and cook Indian food. There's certain spices that work. You can mix it if you like. I like taking the journeys. In the 90s, I was called to London to cut a bunch of drum tracks for some DJ that I didn't know was a huge DJ. And the DJ didn't even know what a drum kit looked like. When I set up my drum kit, he was like, "What's going on?" When he saw the kick pedal in it, he wasn't familiar with how a drum kit sounds in the studio. And brilliant producer, classical pianist, and DJ, and he had all of these tracks, and he wanted me to play drums on his tracks, but he didn't want me to beat the tracks up. That was his baby. So I had to learn how to listen to what he programmed, which already had 6 different drum kit samples on it. How can I make his tracks swing and sound musical without destroying what he already created? So some tracks, I played a brush on a hi-hat for 20 bars, then add the bass drum. This is my thing about learning. This is my beef with sometimes jazz cats thinking hip-hop guys don't know music. Somebody that sells 400,000 records in 4 days knows something about music. They have to. So it may not be the same academic theory that you have, but they have an audience, and they're buying their music, and they're connecting with them. And that's what we want to do as artists, connect with an audience. So for drum and bass, it was a matter of not going in there with an ego of, I'm Will Calhoun, and I played this, and I played with the Stones, and I played with... It's not necessary. The guy was trying to do his record. All I wanted to do was enhance his record, but not go in there as a drum set player, because he didn't like that idea. So I learned how to match existing drum tracks, staying out of the way of the loops, and creating maybe the kick drums. You got to take your drumming ego cap off, because you're not playing trap drums on somebody's record. You're playing with existing drum and bass tracks. So my way of discovering it is just going into the journey always clear. Same thing with going to Morocco. I didn't want to say I know how to play a blues. I jumped on the Gnaoua thing incorrectly, and I was corrected, and it was fine. But I didn't want to go into it saying I know how to. If someone would have given me a cassette beforehand, I would have worked on it. But it's one of those things where I went in. I wanted to go in clean. I really wanted to learn the music. I loved it. It was attractive to me. It inspired me, and I didn't know anything about it. This is the best. As an artist, that's the best. The blank canvas is what you pray for. That's what you want to have all the time. So not knowing anything about the music was like, wow, somebody showed me this thing, and this is where the one is, and then I went to a Layla. So I take the path of going down the lesson road and leaving out a lot of my own ego and baggage and things, and just going to it clear. It's like listening to a really young child or a very old person. They have nothing to hide. They say what they feel. And when you have a conversation with really, really young children and really old people, you're going to get the truth, pretty much. You might not like what you're going to hear, but they're going to say it. And that's the thing about going into music and culture really blind. I want to get leveled by it. I'm not one of those kind of guys where I have to have it on my own terms. It has to be so I understand it, or it has to be in 4/4, or it has to be in 6. No, I want to get completely leveled by that experience of playing incorrectly and having a whole audience clap you into the right time is getting leveled. And it was for me, it was a beautiful experience for me. I didn't feel like, oh, I'm doing this. And I went out and bought 130 cassettes in the market and made sure next year I was going to play it properly. And that's kind of the vibe for me. It's just going into it and not thinking about it being metal or rock or funk. It's true. Those titles exist and they have a language to it, but I don't go into it with those kind of mindsets. I like to try to keep the information open.
Right, and you've found some other kind of open-minded musicians who you're bringing into the fold. So who else are you bringing in for this show on Sunday?
I'm bringing in Jamaladdin Takuma, who's an amazing bass player, I met during the days of Ornette Coleman, and we're sorry that he's not with us anymore, but his music and his spirit still is. Super genius, and I would have to say one of the kindest human beings I've ever met, ever. Take jazz away from it. He was just a very kind human being, which speaks volumes for the kind of man and intelligence that he has. Mark Carey is going to play piano with us. He's on that record he just played.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was invited to come play the festival and to close the festival with Mustafa Bagbu, I brought Mark Carey and I brought Marcus Strickland, because I work with those guys in my band, and I know in playing my music, they're open guys. The thing I'm going to speak candidly about with everyone being here is a lot of times as Americans, when we play other people's music, we go into it playing over their music. It's kind of disrespectful. It's like going into a conversation with your ideas,
right,
and you're going to beat them over the head. And I've seen a lot of masters play with Gnaoua, and I would say masters on our side of the pond play with Senegalese, and they just go play over the music. They're not playing with the musicians.
Right.
So I brought Mark and Strickland because I know those guys are going to listen and be open and hear what's going on, and then take in and add or subtract. Not going in and saying, I'm a great jazz musician, so once the Gnaoua start to play, you're just going to pound on the chords,
right,
or beat up the music. This is something that I think that comes a little bit from, the arrogance of just being knowledgeable about jazz or classical music or what have you. And world music really, to me, breaks that down. It gets you to get out of that mindset. So it was very important for me to bring people to the table who are open-minded about the music. So Jamal Adim's going to come, Mark's going to come, and Marcus is going to come. I got a few more possible on hold. I love David Gilmour. He's a great guitar player. He's played with Trila Gertu. Him and I played with Wayne Shorter together. And Mark's a very open cat as well. And I think it's important to bring the talent and the vibe and the honesty, but also the openness to be able to take the Gnaoua in and not, it's not a rhythm track to play over.
It's sacred ground, yeah.
It's very important.
I feel like Innov is also kind of beginning to go into that process of taking Gnaoua into new atmospheres. You guys just recorded with Bonobo, this DJ, last year, and he's taking you to Coachella and sort of into his electronic music world. Can you maybe tell us how that, like, if you had a similar approach to Will entering a new territory, how the Gnaoua electronic thing has been going for you?
Yeah, Bonobo, he's a friend of Nicodemus. So Nicodemus, he suggested us to Bonobo. So Bonobo sent me an email. He was like, here's a track that I want you guys to play on. So he was doing a version of a Gnaoua song with his mix. So he sent it to me. He was like, what do you think? Can you guys do something? I was like, we have the great Maalem. We're going to do something much better.
Well, something. And that's what happened.
And then what happened?
Yeah.
We got into the studio. We recorded a couple takes. And it was amazing. And the song now is number 2 in his album.
Yeah.
Nice.
Everyone's just loving it.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And now we're gonna do the Coachella Festival with him in April. We're doing 2 nights at the Terminal 5
Here in New York.
in New York. We're doing Red Rocks with him at in Colorado. So, yeah, things are moving up, and it's all, and it's because people, when they hear the music, it's still traditional. The name Innov Gnaoua is like, it comes out of innovation, but not in the music. Innovation in the way how we present the music. We're still keeping it traditional, but the way how we present it to the audience, it has to be in an innovation way. So that's the basic of Innov Gnaoua. And having the great Maalem Hassan Jaafer with us, it's such an honor to us to have him with us, teaching us, learning from him. And when you were talking about your story, I heard that, I remembered one thing that Maalem Hassan Jaafer always tell us. He's like, listen to learn to listen. All the time. Listen to learn to listen. I was like, yes, you're right. Also, there's one thing that we're having a show on April 20th. That's the 20th, right?
Yeah.
We're going to do a whole repertoire of the Jewish songs in Gnaoua. Not so many Maalems play these songs, but we are so honored to have Maalem Hassan Jaafer, who's very amazing in these songs, because he's from Fez, and Fez, they had so many Jewish communities there, and he was one of the Maalems that can be invited to play in these Jewish nights.
That was a real. I was hanging with you guys one night, and it was a Jewish holiday, and the Maalem was playing all this Jewish music, and that just singing about the Talmud and everything. Yeah. That was one of the more mind-blowing things. And it was also interesting, you were showing me videos of Jewish people dancing, and I had known as a suburban Jewish person that Jewish people watch videos on their phone of Gnaoua musicians, but I never knew that Gnaoua musicians watch videos of Jewish people.
Yeah. One thing about the Jewish in Morocco, it's like they're not Jewish, they're Moroccans. Period. You're not gonna tell them, oh, you're Jewish, you're Muslim, you're Christian. No. As soon as they're born in Morocco, that's it, they're Moroccans. They're all together. There's love and peace. That's why whenever you meet a Moroccan Jewish, you're just going to mention a Moroccan and you'll be like, oh my God. It's love. Mm-hmm. It's love. So that's why we have a whole repertoire of the Moroccan Jewish.
Wow.
And we're going to be
April 20th, where is
April
that?
20th at the
Greenwich House Music School as part of the Uncharted series.
Wow. Uncharted. And since we were talking about advice from masters and Maalems, learn to listen to learn. I feel like we had to take advantage of having Mr. Will Calhoun in the studio, who's spent so many times walking amongst the greats. I mean, you want to drop something that want to, or a couple things some of the masters have passed along to you?
Yeah. To be honest, most of them were just excited that I was there and I was interested. I didn't want people to know my background when I was there. I didn't want to talk about my career. It wasn't important. I wasn't there for that. Mm-hmm. So the advantage of getting away from the cities, like when I was in Mali and I was in going further north, heading towards Timbuktu. I was in Mopti and Jenny. These towns. I was an American guy trying to learn some rhythms, mm-hmm. rhythms for rain and beats for healthy pregnancies for women to have healthy babies and beats for a good harvest. I just wanted to learn that. Most of the time, many of them didn't know. Some found out later and they were laughing because somebody would say, oh, this guy worked with Madonna, this guy worked with the Stones, and this guy, and that's why I never contact the embassies when I stay, because the embassy sometimes takes your information and they put it in a newspaper. Oh, this cat's in town. And he's from. And I didn't want to approach anyone with any type of history of what I was doing. I just wanted to learn. So once, and it took me for some of the music I wanted to get to, like the Hunters in Mali. They don't really play with even other Malian musicians. And Umu Sangari gave me a Hunter cassette, and I played it 1,000 times there in my hotel room. When I got home, I still have a cassette player in my truck. And I put it in the cassette. I just played it so many times. I went back 4 years in a row, and I kept asking, and they were like, no, they don't. So I was in the market one day, and two young guys rolled up on me on a moped. I said, are you Will Calhoun? I said, yeah. And they said, okay, so-and-so wants to meet you at this location. They had a cultural center, and there were two hunters there. And he said he's ready to play. Wow. And I was shocked, and I was like, wow, what? And he said he was watching me on all my trips the last 3 years. He was watching me come. He was watching what I was doing. He was watching, because there's a 6-step initiation, which I did not want to know what it was. to play with this particular family. It's very deep music, like a layla. It's a vibrational music. So I was able to record something with them. I'm still working on this recording. It's been about 6 years now, traveling through Mali. But for me, they just laid on me the information once they saw that I was really there for that. And it took 3 or 4 years of going back to those villages and driving, going up there and saying hi the first time and meeting people and just eating, and then not playing at all, and then driving to another. And then the second trip, hey, my daughter's getting married, come to the wedding, and seeing these killer drummers play the wedding. It didn't happen on the first trip. So there's a whole spiritual trusting that went on there. And once they saw the integrity of me wanting to really learn the music, all the walls came down, and they just dumped. I had so much information. I was taking photographs. I was doing field recordings, because it was just all coming kind of really quickly. And I'm now just starting to get those things into a position where I'm learning them, transferring things to drum kit, and wanted to share it with other artists.
Wow. That's heavy. Interestingly, I was in Mopti and Jenny as well.
Yeah.
It's just powerful places. Yeah. Powerful places. Well, let's hear some music, guys. What do you got lined up?
Yeah, I got a song from Maalem Abdeslam Alikkane, who's gonna be joining us too on the Gnaoua tour.
All right, let's check it out.
It's great. You guys play the festival?
سيادي واهل باب الله يا الغمامة سيادي يا الشرفاء لا اله الا الله يا مولانا سبحانك يا مولانا اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على العربي مولانا محمدي لا اله الا الله يا مولانا سبحانك يا مولانا هالي جلالي يا سيدي هالي بوهالي يا بابا وهو مولانا لا اله الا الله يا مولانا سبحانك يا مولانا لا اله الا الله سيدي يا مولانا لا اله الا الله مولانا لا اله الا الله يا سيدي يا مولانا لا اله الا الله مولانا لا اله الا الله يا سيدي الله مولانا يا مولانا لا اله الا الله يا مولانا سبحانك يا مولانا
All right. We're back in the studio with all these fine gentlemen and ladies. We're putting together a week of just really powerful spiritual music descending upon us New Yorkers who need it more than ever. Meera, you want to take us through one more time what people can participate with this week?
Yeah, we are really looking forward for 6 days of amazing stuff. Tuesday, weather holding out. It'll be the panel and discussion at the New School featuring Mark Carey, Samir, and Amino from Innov. Tom Pryor, a journalist who's covered the festival for National Geographic Music. Hisham Aidi, a political science teacher at Columbia and an ethnomusicologist. We'll be talking about Gnaoua, its life here in New York, some of the history of the people and the music, as well as a performance by Innov Gnaoua. Then on Wednesday, Randy Weston is going to have special guest Maalem Hassan Ben Jaafer and Samir Langus for a master class at Medgravers College called A Spiritual Awakening, where he's going to talk about his journey with Gnaoua music for the past almost 60 years. And then Thursday is the big opening night concert at the David Rubenstein Atrium at Lincoln Center. That's when our incredible Maalems from Morocco will be joining us, Maalem Hamid Kasri and Maalem Abdeslam Alikkane. That's going to be 7:30. Get there early because it's going to be popping.
That's a free show.
It's
correct?
a free show. Friday night, free show again at the New School, 7 o'clock. Maalem Abdeslam Alikkane is going to take us through a more traditional show. Shout out to our friend Muhammad from Imports from Marrakesh, who's going to be decking out the place in true gorgeous Moroccan style.
Wow.
Leave your shoes at the door. It's going to be pillows and poofs and rugs and lanterns. It's going to be gorgeous. Go late? Sorry?
Is that show going to go late?
7 to 9. We're going to keep it early because who knows where the party's going to be after.
Okay.
Saturday, the guys are going to Kennedy Center, and then on Sunday, Pioneer Works with Mr. Will Calhoun here for the big jazz show. That's the only ticketed event. The rest of the shows are free, so and we really want everyone to come join us. Keep it accessible.
Oh, yeah. I was going to give away a pair of tickets for that show, but I'll do that at the next music break. We're going to give away some Pioneer Works. So, Will, I was actually, I think I got more than I asked for in a good way in that I was thinking kind of along the lines when I was saying some of the many masters you walked, rub shoulders with and learn from. I was thinking kind of in the North American, New York. No, but that was good stuff. That was even better. So I mean, you've worked. You said Wayne Shorter, and I don't know, the list of the masters. Actually Elvin Jones? You did an album?
I did a record here, which I did.
Yeah.
It's a tribute to Elvin Jones, who's my drum hero, growing up in this town and seeing him so many times at Jazzmobile and the Blue Note and the Vanguard. So he's speaking about difference. He was a drummer for me that came up in a language of communicating. I think jazz drumming has like a vocabulary, and I think Elvin was using different letters to spell out what he was doing. His thing was really unique and different. So but I work with Wayne Shorter and Pharoah Sanders. I love the saxophones. I was fortunate enough to be able to work with Bobby Watson, Wayne, Pharoah. Those are great saxophone players. I'm a jazz fan, and then more the commercial world. Some of the Stones mix and Ronnie Wood solo records, and some stuff with the Stones, and Madonna's a New Yorker. We kind of all were in here in the '80s, hustling, trying to get our thing off the ground. A little bit of stuff with her, and I'm a hip hop fan. I work with Public Enemy and Run DMC, Mos Def, and different folks like that. So in terms of being in New York and being around great artists, it's been really never-ending energy. I never played with Ornette Coleman, but I did go to his home a few times and talk to him about life and about music and about growing up in the Southwest, being a jazz musician. So there were a lot of wonderful things that have come down the line that I wasn't expecting to cross my path, like a Herb Albert kind of a thing. That was an interesting working with someone like him. But once again, I stick to the sounds and just try to bring the best sounds to the table.
So did any of these guys along the path, like, did they, was there something that someone said along the way that just kind of changed your whole thinking about things?
It's going to be hard to keep it legal and say that, but because those guys give you real brutal advice.
Oh, okay.
Because they mean it, Wow, there's quite a bit. I guess one of the most profound ones was just being told that you should only play what you believe in. You don't want to create something that you don't believe in, or that's not from your heart, and it becomes a hit, and you have to live with that. Outside of the financial success of it, maybe it just So put your heart into the things that you love, that you really want to do, and whatever happens with it, you've produced something that you love versus an academic exercise that could bring you a lot of notoriety and wealth, and then it's not really what you're feeling, and then you won't have spiritually time to get to those things that you really want to get to. So that was a pretty this was an artist that knew I loved acoustic music. Is that all right?
Yeah. No, I was motioning to give me the Elvin Jones CD. Sure. That's a good time to do it.
This particular jazz artist knew that I loved commercial music as well as playing indigenous music and playing jazz and so on, and they just wanted me to know that choose your menu wisely. Choose the things that you love wisely, because it can happen in this industry, and as long as things are changing and people are controlling it the way that they're controlling it, it's a bit challenging for us now as artists, with labels being gone and the publishing and so much free music online. It's an interesting. We're in an interesting place, but at the same time, we have direct contacts with people who love our music that we can connect with directly instead of going through kind of a process. So we're at this limbo bit of a stage, but that was the best advice that I received. So I think about that when I'm creating music.
Yeah, is there a particular track on this on this Elvin Jones tribute that kind of, I don't know, feels like the right thing to play right now?
The right thing to play. That's a tough call because it's Elvin, and I guess EJ Blues is a blues. It's not necessarily so connected. It's kind of Elvin. Otherwise, I would play Mahjong. I would play Wayne Shorter's tune. That's a little bit more desert sounding.
All right, let's do that. What is Mahjong? I mean the word. Like, I know it's a card game, but that's you're probably getting at something else.
It's a Wayne Shorter composition.
Oh, we had to ask him. Okay.
You have to ask Wayne, because
All right.
if I say the wrong thing, someone's going to call me.
Okay. Here we go. So this is Mahjong off a really burning album called Will Calhoun celebrating Elvin Jones. We'll be back with Samir, Langus, and Nawfal, Atiq, and Meera Dugal in just a moment. Oh, before I hit it, let's give out those free tickets to Pioneer Works this Sunday. What time is the hit? 7 o'clock hit. We'll give off a pair of tickets. The number is 212-854-9920. That's 212-854-9920. And that show is the Gnaoua musicians plus the musical direction of Will Calhoun with Mark Carey, Jamaluddin Takuma, and others. So, yeah, let's hit that. Hear this track, Mahjong, from Will Calhoun celebrating Elvin Jones. Nice to hear from all those appreciative listeners, our brethren in the fight for good music. Nice having you guys. Is this a bonobo track?
Yeah, that's Bambaro Koyo Ganda. That's a track we composed with Bonobo. Because usually in the Gnawa music, that first song, it's not sang in that way. It's usually Ya Allah Ya Nabina Ya Rasulullah Jilala Sallah Nabina Ya Rasulullah Nabina. So we brought some Bambrawi lyrics and we added to the song, which is Oye Koyo Ganda Jamangariye Koyo Ganda Saha Koyo Babaiji. So, and thanks to the great Maalem Hassan bin Jaafer who helped with these lyrics.
All right, so I'm psyched to hear this, and I kind of neglected my job as a host. I should have mentioned that the track we just heard was Mahjong, the Wayne Shorter composition off Will Calhoun's Celebrating Elvin Jones disc on the Motima label. And so, Meera, where can people go if they want to catch any of these? Is there like one place they could like Google if they want to like?
Yeah, the festivalgnaoua.net has a list of all the concerts happening March 16th through 19th. That's festival Gnaoua. That's the French spelling. Here in our turf we do it Gnawa, but festivalgnaoua Gnaoua.net is where all the shows are listing. But then for the 14th and 15th pre-festival events, just check out the New School and the Madger Evers websites. We also have it listed at innovgnaoua.com, INNOVGNAWA.com. There's a list of the events that we're part of, including these two pre-festival events. So check it out. We'd love to see you there.
All right, very exciting. So this is the track, Bonobo. So this is the electronic kind of collaboration that's bringing you guys to Coachella and all around the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Okay, let's check it out.
ويا بابا ويا كل عطيم يا بن حمد وشياو يا بن حدود يا كل عطيم يا كل عطيم يا بن حمد وابوس وعلى جودك رضى عليا
All right. Here we are in the studio. Some amazing music here, brought to us by our very special guests, Meera Dugal and Will Calhoun, Nawfal Atiq, and Samir Langus. Samir, would you be able to tell us what we just heard in that last little set?
Yeah, the first song that we heard was I think Hamid al-Qasri, Hamdoushia. Hamdoushia, it's not a Gnawa song. It's a Ahmedsha. It's a totally different style of music. You know, it's from the Brotherhood of Morocco, and the second song was Maalem Mahmoud Guinea that he did with the Floating Points. And we also heard the recording with the Bonobo that Innov Gnawa and Bonobo did.
All right, so a little electrical set.
Floating Points. He'll be playing at Brooklyn Steel on April 13th.
That's right. And so many great Gnawa shows coming up, and all you have to do to kind of keep track of most of it is, well, you can go to innovgnawa.com, and that will link you up to most of the events.
We'll put it all up there.
We'll put it all up there. So many thanks to our guests, Will Calhoun, Samir Langus, Nawfal Atiq, and Meera Dugal. And congratulations to our ticket winners. That show is this Sunday at Pioneer Works, which is 159 Pioneer Street. You can also come and check out a free show on Thursday if you get there nice and early at the Lincoln Center Atrium. So we got something all queued up?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to play Hamdoushia by Maalem Hassan bin Jaafer that he recorded with some Japanese, way, I think in 2004. It's on the cartoon movie Cowboy Bebop.
All right, let's check it out.
يا بابا ويا سيدي أري والله تعالى دنيا غرارة ويا ناو دنيا غرارة ويا بابا سيدي بكي من نادي وهي الولي أني كرميت الأرض هيا مولا الأمان هبا وبا هاكي بجرالي ويا الولي تيهتيني عاري عليك هبابا يا بابا الحبيب الله مولانا ويا بابا تسرف يا مولاي حمد ويا والراكب على رخشاق يا وناري الداقري ومشى الله بابا الله سيدي يا نوالي يا مولاي حمد يا وناري الداقري ومشى الله بابا الله سيدي ويا نوالي يا مولاي حمد شريت وعلان يا بينا صوت يا الله بابا الله سيدي ويا نوالي يا مولاي حمد يا مولانا نسعى ورضاك وعلى باب واقفين يا واللي رحمنا سواك يا ارحم الراحمين يا الله بابا الله سيدي ويا نوالي يا مولاي حمد يا ملكي يا عيني تبكي ورا الفراق شابورتي ملكي يا عيني تبكي ورا الفراق شابورتي يا الله بابا الله سيدي ويا الوالي يا مولاي حمد لا تزيد الشي يا سيدي والهم يرشي عيش الخير وادري الخير غالب الله ما عنده شي يا الله بابا الله سيدي ويا الوالي يا مولاي حمد سير الايام رصفه مر الغمام لا سير يا سير الايام رصفه مر الغمام غنوب الله غنوب الله يا سيدي بغينا السلام لا تشوفوا شبك ورا الشريف نتاع ماليه برقيص مروقه مالين غالب الله ما قادر ليه يا الله بابا الله سيدي يا الوالي يا مولاي حمد يا رب الموت الغرره يا سيادي بجميع عليا وحتى نشوف احبابك واحبابي اللي قرب ليا يا الله بابا الله سيدي ويا الوالي يا مولاي حمد يا غير سيرورة سير الايام بالراس مر الغلام راسيرو راسير الايام الرصفه مر الغلام غنوب الله يا ربي قلبي السلام وشريفي مولاي حمد ويا والراتب على الخشاب راه الداخلي ومشاي ومولاي حمد ومولاي حمد وشريفي يا رام ويا الوالي ويا الوالي مولاي حمد ويا والراكب على الخشاب يا ولاري والداخلي ومشاي يا مولاي حمد ومولاي حمد يا مولاي حمد يا والله الله ربي سيدي العالم ما في قلبي وجود عليا يا مولاي راني مشي دوبا وراني مقهورة يا صلاة نبينا يا محمد لا إله إلا الله محمد يا صلاة نبينا يا محمد لا إله إلا الله محمد يا زوران النبي يا محمد واصحابه حشرة محمد يا زوران النبي يا محمد مولاي محمد يا محمد يا عريس القيامة يا محمد عريس القيامة يا محمد يا شفاع أمته يا محمد في الجواتات يا محمد يا زوران النبي يا محمد واصحابه حشرة محمد والمدينة سيدي ويا رسول الله يلا وزوروا جبل عرفة سيدي ويا حبيب الله يلا وزوروا الصفا والمروة سيدي ويا حبيب الله يا بركتي لالا فاطمة بركتي لالا فاطمة يا بركتي سيدنا بلال حبيب الله يا بركة سيدنا أبو بكر سيدي ويا حبيب الله يا بركة سيدنا حمزة سيدي ويا رسول الله بركتي لالا فاطمة بركتي لالا فاطمة يطلبوا العريف شهولي يا دوغ الله يا دو النبي بابا حاجي شوفوا مكان مكان Jamangaro راية النبي يا بابا حاجي شوفوا مكر مكر أو ياري ياري الله جمن قرو أو ياري ياري الله جمن قرو ما عندي غير الله جمن قرو يطلبوا مولانا جمن قرو يتجب دعانا جمن قرو يطلب ربي يا جمن قرو يا جمن قريو يا جمن قرو أولادي يا فلاني جمن قرو أولادي يا حصاوي جمن قرو ياني وين وين يا جمن قرو يطلب العالي جمن قرو ياتي وين وين يا سكان ياتي وين وين يا سكان ياتي وين وين يا سكان أبا بحاجي شوفوا يا رقمة 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 يا رجال الله ألي يا رسول الله ألي يا كان اطلب ربي يا لي يا رسول الله ذوي الحال يا جمن قرو يا لي يا رسول الله ذوي الحال الله يدوي يا لي يا رسول الله ذوي الحال شهوري أو يلينيا ورسول الله ذوي الحال قال اطلب ربي ويلينيا وحبيب الله ذوي الحال يا كمر وريا يلينيا ورسول الله ذوي الحال
Hamid El Kasri here on WKCR 89.9 FM New York. We've been celebrating the music of Gnaoua people, and they have quite an exciting lineup of concerts coming up in New York City. Gnaoua Festival Tour is underway in a big way. March 16th, you can go to the Lincoln Center and catch Maalem Hamid Al Kasri and Maalem Abdeslam and Maalem Hassan Ben Jaafer. That's going to be really special. Lincoln Center, March 16th. March 17th, New School. You can catch a kind of traditional show at the New School of Jazz. Both these are free events. And on March 19th, Pioneer Works with our guest who was here earlier in the day, Will Calhoun, as well as Jamaluddin Takuma, Marcus Strickland, and Mark Carey, and Maalem Hamid Al Kasri. So, pretty exciting. A lot of great music coming up. We'll take it out with the great Maalem Hamid Al Kasri, and then that'll be it. So thanks for listening. My name is David Ellenbogen, and like everything I do at this station, it's all documented at the website nycradiolive.org, or you can go to NYC Radio Live in iTunes or any other podcast application, and you can find this show and many others. All right. Thanks for listening.